Hi everyone, welcome to Straight Edge Tiki. Today I am in Las Vegas, Nevada at it's a fairly new tiki bar. Well, God, it's weird to say that this is a tiki bar because it's like a pirate ship, straight pirate. And I'm here with the captain of the ship, Tater. So, Tater, when did Straight Pirate open up and what's this all about? Because I feel like I'm in a ship, but I'm seeing a lot of pictures of dogs on the wall and in the bathroom. So what's going on here?
So we opened up in late October.
Yeah.
And
October of 2023.
Yep, October
Okay.
of 23. So
Okay.
we've only been here for a few months. But we wanted to have our own little fun story. And as our story goes here,
Yeah.
Our ship was sailing along and got lured into a haunted cave, and they got turned into dogs and then sailed as they eternally looked for the solution, the cure to their curse.
Oh my God.
So the Stray Pirates are what they're called, the band of pirate dogs that sailed the seven seas.
So when they say "are," they really
with
mean
no mercy.
Bamboo Ben did build that, right?
Yeah, he sure did. He helped us out with this thing. And really, like what I say about that is, Ben, he does your build, but I think what's kind of cooler or more important is he actually shows you the way.
Yeah.
If you stand there for too long next to him, he puts a paintbrush in your hand and it's definitely your job to carry the torch.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. He actually just visited us recently, and he installed a couple of new cannons that we have around here.
Oh my God.
Which is we're real happy to have been able to have those extra touches, but I like to also feel like maybe we did him proud by trying to carry the torch as he moved on to complete his future projects. And
yeah, I hear you
just want to make him proud,
Yeah, well, I tell you what. I've been to Strongwater, and the thing that I really love about this bar, though, is that it feels like you're in the inside of a ship, but it still feels like you're like in a local bar. It's literally the best of both worlds. I love the dark wood, and even though there isn't like really much tiki or traditional Polynesian pop, in some ways it almost feels more like a tiki bar to me with all the dark wood and just how dark it is. But most importantly, what I really love, Tater, and then before you even served me a drink when I came in a couple days ago, was the music. The music was so awesome, and I'm like, this is a place that I can be. This is a place I could, if I lived in Vegas, this is a place where I can see myself hanging out a lot. But more importantly, though, you have non-alcoholic cocktails.
Yeah.
And you actually made me a non-alcoholic Mai Tai. What's the name of it on the menu?
We call it our dry tie.
The dry tie. And I'll tell you what, man, I was blown away by it. It tasted great. Can you whip me up one real quick?
Yeah, most definitely.
And but before, yeah. So before you do that though, before we get into it, I want to ask you, like, how long have you been? How did you get into bartending? Like, what's your story?
So I've been bartending for about 20 years.
20.
The downtown specific area.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky enough to get to be a part of some bars that I feel like allowed me to really be creative and experiment with fun and fresh ingredients. I'm incredibly proud of the individuals I've been able to work with along the way, and the things that they've been able to go off and accomplish on their own is something that I'm more proud of than any liquid that I could possibly put in the glass.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I've just been able to play with fun things for such a long time now that I just feel like maybe I've earned my way through being able to have a little bit of a knack for it, and I appreciate it. And I think the other big thing that I think is most important is, as I always say, that I don't serve liquor.
Yeah.
I don't serve drinks. I serve guests.
Yes.
I have drinks.
Yes.
Right. And so on that note, that's how come I would be sitting here in a zone where I, feel so passionate about a non-alcoholic drink, because I think that having the people around to enjoy it is just more important than the specifics or semantics that goes into what the cocktail is.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, man, you were actually a pretty heavy inspiration to me.
Oh.
It was probably almost a year ago. It was, I think, like last June or July when I got to have a brief drink with you over at Frankie's, and I watched, I realized that was a thing. So I remember sitting here making drinks, and I was like, man, cool dudes like Ray are going to be all about this someday.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's just sort of like, I'm 52, and there's a lot of us that are into. What I've noticed that anything in the tiki scene is that it's an older crowd, and we're all a little older, and it's just sort of like you just get to a point where you just kind of can't do it anymore, and like really like it affected my health and stuff like that, and I had to make a decision. But here's the thing: I love tiki. Like this is what I'm into, and it was a real shock for me to be like, oh my god, I can't drink alcohol anymore. Well, like, well, what am I going to do? I mean, I love tiki bars. I'm not going to order a club soda. But what makes me really, really happy and what I'm trying to spotlight is that you can go to a place like this. Like I actually was over at the Golden Tiki, and Adam made me a non-alcoholic painkiller, which is incredible. And I'm like, wow, this tastes just as good as a regular one. And I had the Mai Tai, when I was here, and I loved it. And you also make a ginger beer.
Yes.
And can I have a little bit of that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if you want to get that.
Yeah. We fill our own ginger beer. We fill our own kegs.
Yeah.
With ginger beer. Spend a lot of time with either the house-made ingredients, syrups, juices, things like that we're doing. And the ginger beer being one of them. And one of the things we always try to do with any of these fresh ingredients is I'm always really hesitant to apply any heat to them. So we basically say that this is like an entirely cold brewed ginger beer.
Yes.
And we feel like that's the best way to maintain its integrity. So I fill little corny kegs with it, fill old soda kegs.
Yeah.
And that's how I keep it on draft. And this specific recipe around, because I've been into making ginger beer for about 10, 11 years now at different venues that I've been fortunate enough to get to be a part of. This is our tropical rendition. So we have a little bit of pog in there as well that we prepare here. And there's also a little bit of cardamom bitters that we add sometimes post draft if say somebody was interested in depending on everybody's relationship with exactly what that is. Every now and again, a dash or two of bitters is considered acceptable.
No, that's fine.
We would never we would never think that was okay without chatting with somebody.
No, that's completely fine. And this is something that you've made. This is like your recipe.
Yeah, we built it right here in these four walls.
Yeah, let me
get some ginger beer going here.
Cardamom bitters. Is that what it is?
Yep. A couple dashes of Scrappy's cardamom.
Yes.
A little bit of pirate style to top it off.
Yes.
Little spice and sugar.
Not cocaine.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's cocaine on this. Thank you so much, Stater.
This is not a children's bar.
No. Oh my God. I mean this when I said this, and I even said this. This is probably the best ginger beer I've ever had. And the thing, what I love about it is like a lot of times when people are making companies make ginger beer, it's like they really push the ginger. Like they really want it to be really gingery and really, really tart. But yours is like right there. But it has the other complexities of the other things that make it so good. And I'll tell you what, I mean, like if someone comes to Straight Pirate, I mean, I'm talking to the audience. I mean, like, even if you came here and just ordered this, you'll have a good time. It's so good. I've never been so passionate about ginger beer before, but it's really, really good. And you have syrups that you actually make in-house.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of those.
Cool. Yeah, I think in regards to like whether or not somebody would say want to get like a non-alc ginger beer or maybe go for a dry tie or a non-alcoholic painkiller versus keeping it maybe on something that's like a lighter, maybe a can craft soda or something like that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because everybody's still figuring out their exact path, right? And what I like most about the ginger beer is, somebody can get that and get to be a part of it with something that's essentially like, it's a fairly, it's an approachable thought. It's something that they know. It's not too intimidating. They're not worried it's going to be the wrong, like, maybe sugar bomb or something like that.
It's not a sugar bomb.
So
it's just
I think
just
that's
sweet
a great
enough.
one for somebody who basically wants to have like maybe call it like a some engagement, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, as like when you stop drinking, like a big thing is like when you drink alcohol, there's that bite, the bite of the alcohol.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is there's that bite at the end, and it kind of scratches that itch.
So what I call that is buy-in. People want to have a little skin in the game when they're non-alcoholic cocktails. So interestingly enough, it's one of the things I've done at my bars for a while, and something that we're going to be able to work into this program is a non-alcoholic shot. And because of the fact that you need to have some bite and you need some of that, it's going to have some fresh ginger. So we have a runny spiced molasses that we use here in house, and we'll be able to get a little bit of lime, a little bit of runny molasses, and a little bit of ginger. We're going to call it the eye opener. And based on that thought that it needs to have a little bit of snap to it, I feel like that's why that would work. Versus giving you basically a small cup of strawberry lemonade or something like that, right?
And that's the thing, and that's one of the main reasons why I want to do this series, because everybody could talk about like non-alcoholic cocktails, mocktails, or whatever. You know, there's a stigma to it, like, oh, it's Capri Sun. You know, it's like, oh, it's just like grenadine and orange juice and pineapple. It's like, no. There's, I mean, when we get into the Mai Tai, I mean, there's a complexity to it that is just as complex as any other tiki drink. And I think in some ways Tater is more, I think it's just to show like your skills and stuff like that. Like, hey, look, here's a drink for you that's going to taste great, but there's no booze in it. A lot of times you can hide something with like, oh, we'll just throw some booze in there. Like, oh, yeah, it's strong, it's good. But without the booze, it's sort of like, okay, well, it makes you, as a non-alcoholic drinker, it makes you think like, okay, does this drink taste good? Do I enjoy it? You know, as opposed to like, I'm going to drink a zombie because what's going to get me wasted.
Definitely nothing to hide behind there. No booze strength to hide behind.
Yeah. So what do we got here with the syrups?
Cool. So a couple of things that we do just to share some things that we're passionate about, or having been into cocktails. I mean, the idea of grenadine being a crucial ingredient in so many items like our zombie, and knowing that I want to leave essentially no stone unturned when it comes to making all of those ingredients as best as I possibly can. This would be we'll call it, it's a cold pomegranate. Again, like I was saying, that I believe in cold syrups that maintain the acidity. It's got a little bit of orange flower water in there, and maintains a lot of the snap and tartness from the ginger beer, or the pomegranate. It's got a little bit of acidity there.
What I love about it is that it's a smooth taste. Where a lot of times with the pomegranate, with the grenadine, it's like, very tart. This is great. And you actually use this. What do you use this syrup in?
We use it in a number of our cocktails. But the ones right off the bat would be our Million Doubloons, and then obviously our Zombie.
Nice. And then what's this one here?
So this is a syrup that I think we're particularly proud of, because I just think it's kind of a cool, clever idea.
Yeah, what is it?
So what I have right here is a local sour beer from Las Vegas. It's called Love Lady, from a brewery called Love Lady. It's their Ninth Island Pineapple Sour.
Yeah.
So what we did with this is we turned this Ninth Island sour pineapple beer into a syrup. So it actually gets like some really nice pineapple notes, but it gets a nice almost a malty and bready, like cereal grain note on the nose that the beer still resides in there. And like the acidity of the pomegranate grenadine, the acidity of the sour beer makes for a very well balanced syrup. Also,
let me try this. Oh yes. That's incredible.
So we use this one.
I'll be honest with you. I've never had it. I've never had something like that before.
This is something that I just kind of, it's a weird one. We'll talk about call it like zero waste, or we can say everything but the kitchen sink, or whatever that is. But hey, all I'm going to say is, if I had a beer that maybe was a little bit past its prime, but it was special to me, for those individuals that are into beer, man, I would lay that thing into a syrup and turn it into cocktails for the rest of it, if you wanted to hang for a little bit. If maybe you had an end of a keg of a smoked porter or something like that, and you're, talk about working like let's take just a random idea. Let's go for, I don't have these ingredients, but just for the sake of discussion, grab a coconut stout, turn it into a syrup, take that bad boy towards a rum old fashioned, and I think you're in a really good place. Get like a nice Chet Baker or rum old fashioned. I think you're looking good with that. And also having say more to the syrup than just like the water, right? We're talking about, similar to cooking. If I were to say replace water with broth, I'm going to have a more intensity of flavor.
Yes.
And you can go that same way with beer.
And the thing is I tried these two syrups, and they say the ginger beer is that. Okay, yeah, you can have we all know like the recipes. Like for example, yeah, here's the recipe for the 34 Zami. You can go down the list, or even say with the 44 Mai Tai, curacao, orgeat, some kind of a simple syrup, and then the rums. Now, okay, yeah, that's the recipe, but what's the curacao that you're using? What does that taste like? What are you using for the orgeat? It's all about these different tastes where, like, if you come up with your own syrups like you are, you're not going to get a Mai Tai that's going to taste like your Mai Tai here somewhere else. With these syrups here, like, yeah, I've tasted different grenadines, but I haven't anything tasted like that. That is something I've never even tasted before, So, and what I loved about your Mai Tai, like, let's stop talking about it. Let's start making it. But like, if you can you walk us through as you're making it and just kind of tell us what's all in it as you do it? And I'll step back here. Enjoy this ginger beer.
Well, definitely in full disclosure, there's a lot of syrups we make, but I'd say that there's also some syrups we don't. We don't always reinvent the wheel for everything. That being said, we use Small Hand Foods orgeat, which we like a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's a nice little balance of nuttiness without necessarily being too floral.
Yeah.
So I like this a lot for our Mai Tais. And from a practical standpoint, it also allows us a little, and just to be, to basically bear it all, I get a little bit of bandwidth to be able to take on some other syrups and some other ingredients.
Yes.
By allowing the right blend of some things that are house made and then some things that we're going to be able to purchase.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So, all right. So, we're going to make our non-alcoholic Mai Tai right now. We lovingly refer to this as our dry Tai. So, start with our orgeat here.
How much orgeat?
So, I'm a real firm believer, and I kind of call it simpling down your orgeat. So
okay.
What I like to do is, knowing that I'm going to make a sour, I'm going to go 1 part sweet and 1 part sour. That's where my lime juice is going to come into play.
Yeah.
I personally just like to build it straight into my jigger. That way I know that if maybe the amount of one sweetener or another varied to a slight degree, I'm going to end up with a balanced cocktail in the end. But I kind of refer to it as like simpling down my orgeat just to make sure that it's like perfumey or toasty nature doesn't overtake the rest of the ingredients in that cocktail. And I think that's a nice little, like, I know that's the way a lot of the classic recipes are written. At least Trader Vic's recipe is written that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's something to be said for that right balance when you're approaching the drink and knowing that I want all those ingredients to have their equal say.
Yeah.
So I use the Liar's portfolio to touch some of the other flavors from the spirits that come. Yeah. This one's the orange sec. I go 3/4 of an ounce of that.
And that would be the curacao.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Don't want to forget my fresh lime juice.
How much lime juice?
I did an ounce of that to match against the ounce of sweetener I used, that orgeat simple combo.
Okay.
All right. Kind of a cool touch. I think we use a blend of light and dark NA rums. The White Cane Spirit from Liars. It's a local gentleman named Jason Bornstein who represents this for us, and he's really living the lifestyle. And also, I think what's more important is like helping us find where our personal relationship with this is. Right?
Yeah.
Like these things, haven't really been defined yet, and I don't think they necessarily need a definition. But as they become more normalized to say maybe even blend a dry tie in the middle of your drinking session.
Yes,
I think that's going to be what we're looking at in the future. So to allow these drinks to come out and to have their own spotlight, I think is going to help move that, push that movement forward.
And that is the Liar's Dark, not the spice. Is that the spice?
This is not the spice. We use Liar's Dark.
Okay. Because there is a spice one I know. Yeah, I think they have 3 different rum alternatives. Okay, cool.
There's a gentleman out there named Tom Turner that basically says that he loves whiskey so much he doesn't ever want to have to not drink it. So the idea of having the right approach moving forward.
Yeah.
serve this on crushed or our nugget ice.
Yes.
So I don't want to shake it too much on the square cubes because I'm not trying to introduce too much dilution. This glass was done by our friend Mike Biggs, who's a local here in Las Vegas.
And they are for sale?
Yeah, most definitely. All right. All right, Ray. Take this one for a spin.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you
I really appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
That's a Mai Tai. It's a Mai Tai. Now, okay, yeah, you obviously you're not going to have the Jamaican rum coming through, but this tastes like a 44 Mai Tai. Maybe just a little sweeter than a normal thing, but it's great though. This is incredible. God damn. And this is on the menu, right?
Yep. It's on the menu just like that. And that being said, there's other ingredients we have. You know, we can always play with like the runny molasses. I have a few different orgeats that we have around here, and we can definitely kind of go to the lab and have a good time with any variations as well. But this one's the one that keeps it going. This is the one that's started it all, so to speak.
And what's awesome about it is that the lime is the bite. It's in the back end. And again, it sort of makes you think like you're drinking something alcoholic. And here, I'm curious to see, like, if you put this in front of someone that wouldn't know, I don't know if they'd know. It's great.
Thank you, man. Definitely can't tell by looking at it.
Mm-hmm. And you also have other non-alcoholic cocktails on the menu.
Yep.
But everyone out there, they also have regular alcoholic cocktails too. So, Tater, thank you so much for making these. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I walked into this place, I'm like, I love this place. And even after drinking the drinks, I'm like, if I'm going to come to Vegas, like, there's always the talk about, like, well, you always see this on Facebook. You know, like, ooh, I'm only going to be in Vegas for like one day. I can only go to one tiki bar. Should I go to Frankie's or should I go to the Golden Tiki? Well, my thing is like, you should go straight Pirate.
That's too kind of you, man.
I mean that. I mean, it's like, I think just as those other two places would be destination tiki bars to go to, you're right there too.
I appreciate that, man.
And
hey, we love those guys, man. I want to go out there and say, like, I did a guest shift at Golden Tiki for Down the Beachcomber's birthday, a week and a half ago, right? So, I mean, I've been a fan of Adam Raines for longer than he's been there, right? And I think he brings a ton to bartending, and the scene. I think what they do for helping to move the tiki culture forward in our town is great.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm just gonna say. I mean, there's always been this outside pseudo rivalry between the two bars, but it's like, fuck that. No, go to all three, and you're right there too.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you,
and thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. I cheers you, but it looks like
I'll have to.
Yeah, you have to cheers it.
I'm gonna have to repossess this ginger
all right.
for one.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
You got it, man.
I just want a glass of your ginger beer. Yeah. It's so fucking good. Hey everyone, just want to let you know that if you're interested in getting a straight edge tiki shirt, you can buy your own over at my website, tikiwithray.com/buy a shirt. They're $20 plus $8 shipping. And you don't have to be straight edge to buy one.